Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I've got your gameplay for the T95E1. This is a currently rank 6 battle rating 8.0 medium tank in the American Ground Forces tech tree. This vehicle has been one of my favorite vehicles in War Thunder for a very long time because of how it plays. It's kind of like if the Americans made their own version of the T55, T54, and maybe a little bit after that, like a T62 type vehicle. This is kind of around those lines. So as you can see, this has a very long 90mm cannon. It can fire APF SDS that has around 300mm of armor pen at max. Now this vehicle is very interesting because of its historical significance. Now this actually had steel silicate composite armor, which although War Thunder only shows it as being just regular cast homogeneous armor, it is supposed to be steel silicate composite. So a real basic level of composite armor, but pretty darn cool nonetheless. Regardless, it does have a pretty decent amount of armor on the front, especially with the lower glacis and the angling. You can get around 200mm of effective thickness, depending on, of course, where you hit. Now, additionally, this also featured in real life, at least some variants featured a turbine engine and a variant of a laser rangefinder, like a very basic laser rangefinder, but a laser rangefinder nonetheless. From what I read, it's some sort of an incoherent laser, which means that it wasn't all too focused, and so if it rained or if there was a mist or a fog or any sort of thing getting in the way of it, it would be almost impossible to use, so the gunner would then have to use some regular range finding sight, so it wasn't a perfect thing. Now in War Thunder, unfortunately, we do not have any variant of that. We don't even have a basic rangefinder modification, but still it is very cool. That being said, let's get into a few matches, see what we could do, but yeah, this is one of my favorite vehicles in game. Let's get into it. So I did make a little bit of a whoopsie in the intro in that I said that this vehicle had a rudimentary laser rangefinder in real life. It did not. Rather, it had an electro-optical rangefinder called Optar, and it was actually very advanced, but as I said before, very finicky, and just didn't jive well with any sort of visual obstructions like rain, fog, mist, so on and so forth. So because of that, they got rid of it, but the T95 actually saw tons of development over years, and as a result, you actually have several vehicles like the M60s and other US vehicles that were positively impacted by the development of the T95 line of vehicles. There were something like, it must have been something like a dozen or so T95s that were eventually created. Okay, that's not cool. This thing has so much armor, it's nice. Then you have this guy in the Swedish vehicles, just doing what Swedish vehicles do, I guess. Which is getting in people's ways. But one of the problems with this vehicle is that it simply just doesn't have the greatest amount of post-pen damage. This guy is providing excellent cover for me. I will say that much. Wow. Okay, it looks like that leopard is still there. Was still there. No, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. What is wrong with these people? Oh my gosh, what's going on? The massacre, the carnage. Swedish people. But regardless, I mean, I think that this is a great vehicle. Ooh, we have ourselves an enemy coming up. Don't know if he will... Got the kill. It was a Martyr A1. That would have been deadly. So with this vehicle, it's pretty unique because, again, T95's had a whole range of variants between the 90, 105, and 120mm variants, and many more even within those variants. Plus, there was a demolition vehicle that they had that was developed. So, I mean, it's just a really interesting line of tanks. So, with all that wonkiness aside, let's go over the T95E1, because I've spoken enough about the vehicles in the T95 series themselves and, you know, the M60A1, but the T95E1, this is a pretty good vehicle. Now, right off the bat, I'm just going to say this should probably be a 7.7 BR vehicle. I'm not really quite sold on the fact that it is 8.0 BR. It just doesn't really make a ton of sense to me. But, you know, 7.7 BR, in my opinion, is that... Can't even see anything over there. 7.7 BR, in my opinion, would probably be best. So, years ago, when this was first released, sure, you know, an 8.0 BR makes sense, right? APF SDS, it's got good armor, very good armor relative to what it is. I mean, it's actually quite effective. And it's got, you know, just a whole bunch of creature comforts, so to speak. It's got actually relatively good mobility, despite the fact that it is a not a very well powered, like it doesn't have a great power to weight ratio, but it does have good mobility. It's got you know, definitely a really nice turret traverse rate. So overall, you know, I mean, it's actually a pretty damn good vehicle. But ooh, should I go up? I'm gonna just try to flank him behind. And it is actually a pretty stable suspension, which is also nice for a non-stabilized vehicle. Okay, looks like we got an enemy here. That APF SDS does not really do the trick when you want it to. Oh, jeez. Okay, I know I got an enemy over here to my left, so I'm going to go for him. I'm just going to assume that this guy can't fire. But the one on the left is probably somewhat dangerous. There we go. And hopefully I don't die now, but another case of the BMP not being good to me. Okay, I definitely see a tank track right here, so I'm going to disable him. That'll be a nice, easy way for me to hopefully be able to flank him. Unless he decides to expose more of his vehicle, which he, for some reason, did. I'll take that. Thank you, Mike Carlson. Mike Carlson 14. But, you know, overall, when it comes to this vehicle, it's got very good armor. You know, I mean, that's the first thing I can really say about it. Again, it's got a pretty good speed relative to, again, its power to weight. But I don't know, like, you have so many vehicles at 8.0 BR that have stabilizers at this point, right? Like, that is actually becoming a feature of 8.0 BR. You have vehicles that are starting to get things like laser rangefinders, which this doesn't have. Now, if this had its experimental Optar system, sure, you know, I mean, like, I could possibly see that being a, just trying to get a good shot on him. I could possibly see that being a reasonable thing coming to War Thunder. Can I hit this guy? Got the kill. Very nice. I could possibly see that being something where it's like, okay, this makes some level of sense. It's not going to be as good as a laser rangefinder, but it'll be better than a regular rangefinder, and I feel like that'd be a really cool modification if Gaijin decided to add it. Now, will they? I highly doubt it. But if they added more T95s, that would be pretty nifty. So we have ourselves an enemy over here. I doubt he knows I'm here. Maybe. I think the biggest problem with this vehicle is quite simply the fact that it has a 90mm cannon and its only shell type is APF SDS. Now, I'm not sure if that's historically accurate. I'm going to hope that it is, but in many instances, I think I'd rather use... wow, lucky me. Or lucky him, rather. But I'd much rather use Heat FS with the 90mm than APF SDS, because APF SDS is subcaliber, which basically means that you're taking a much smaller shot than even a 90mm, which 90mm at this BR is already pretty substandard. And so you're taking even a smaller shot than that, and you're firing it through the gun, which is not something I'm a big fan of. Now, if this had Heat FS, that would be, in my opinion, much more effective, and is something that I would enjoy much more. You know, and I feel like would actually be doing a much better job than what we see currently on this. But, I mean, overall, though, it's got good mobility relative to its poor power-to-weight ratio, or mediocre power-to-weight ratio. It's got great armor relative to its weight. I've already said all these things. But really, the main thing with this is, again, the fact that it has a mediocre... I'm not going to fire my MGs on him. Mediocre APF SDS. And you can even see it right there. I did not do much. I mean, you can just see the post-pen damage report on the top right. I'm not doing much post-pen damage, unfortunately. And that's just going to be pretty typical of this type of shell at this caliber. Okay, we got someone in the back there. Got the kill, very nice. Cannot complain. However, he has spotted me, which is not very nice, of course. And the already long reload on this is getting even longer. Okay, we have an enemy there. Got the fuel tank. Ooh, it is a mouse house. Oh, is that the... That's not good. I did not realize that is the enemy spawn, but we will be able to hopefully take out this fella over here. There he is. There he went sky high. My oh my. I'm gonna run here because I do not feel like dealing with the enemy spawn. Not my thing. I do not like spawn camping if I can help it. We killed each other! Fair enough. Okay, I guess one more match. But overall, thus far, is this still one of my favorite tanks? I'm not sure. But if it went down to 7.7 BR, I'd probably say yes. Okay, we have an enemy up there. Got the track. Works for me. A bit of a low shot, unfortunately. Got the kissity kill. Very, very nice. Okay, saw an enemy there. Let's hope that this guy can get the kill. Will not get the kill. However, I did take out his driver. Gonna aim up this time. Got his track now. Oh, man, I am just frustrating this guy to no limit. Man, I don't know about you guys, but it's always so weird when you just don't see any enemy action for quite some time in a match, and yet you know that the enemy is right there. This is one of those instances. We do have some enemies here. Of course, the shot models, that would have been right through. I can guarantee you that. That would have been right through that piece of brick. But unfortunately, it did not. Because War Thunder. We do have some other people over here if the smoke can clear before I am spotted. There we go. Object 120. But of course, as mentioned before, this will be my last match, regardless of the outcome. Don't care if I get another kill, another 2 kills, 5 kills, 20 bajillion kills, although that would definitely be cool. Okay, we have an enemy over there. Hopefully I can kill him before getting killed myself. I can! Centurion Mark III, double strike. None too shabby dibby dabby. Okay, I am hearing SPAA all over the place up here. Got the kill! Whoa, buddy! 4th kill, or however many, I don't even know how many kills I have at this point. But it is enough to make a Tankenstein happy. Ultimately, I'm just here to defeat some SPAA. You know, like, what it comes down to is SPAA, for the most part, they're not going to leave their base. The only way for you to kill SPAA in that instance is to go to their base. But, of course, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But I died, probably rightfully so. Either way, thank you all so much for watching. 4 kills, 1 assist, 1 base cap. None too bad as a final match. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.